Hello, ladies, gentlemen, everyone between and beyond. My name is Dylan. Welcome to the brand new indie game called Outpath. Now, this is a first-person clicker builder game type thing that was developed by, I'm going to get this name wrong, I sincerely apologize, David Moralejo Sanchez, published by Grab the Games and Upgrade Point. And I was gifted a key for this game through Keymailer, so thank you to David, thank you to Keymailer for gifting me a code for this game. I want to be real up front. Anytime I get a code, I don't let it affect my review. I've said that every time, and I'll continue to say it every time. I judge the game purely on its own merits. If I sound a little different or if I seem a little off in this recording, it's just because I am a little sick. My throat's starting to go, so we'll see how far in I can get. Anyway, I played Outpath for about, half an hour, 45 minutes, which is not as long as I normally play because, as the title implies, this game didn't really click with me. Pun fully intended. Now, part of the reason for that is I don't get on with sandbox games. Now, I've had this discussion before with Chris and John and a few other people, but I don't see the appeal personally in sandbox games. I like to have a bit of structure, a bit of direction in terms of where I'm going in a game, and a bit of investment into what the story is. Something like this, where it kind of just throws you in and says, go, really leaves me wanting direction. It leaves me wanting more. And that's not to say this is a bad game, because I think for the right person, this is a great game. For instance, John did a video on this game, which I will leave the link to the description down below, and he had a blast with it. He thought it was so much fun. And I'm sitting here going, what am I supposed to do? Like, why am I just sitting here twiddling my thumbs, trying to figure this out, when I feel like I should have some sort of just even overarching objective? Now, that feeling isn't helped by the core gameplay. This is one of the most actively passive games I've ever played. I don't mean as in, like, it is trying to be passive. It is, but it's in this weird intersection between being passive, yet still requiring inputs from the player. It reminds me of something like, say, Factorio, in terms of you're working so that you don't have to work. Now, I'm going to unpack that in just a minute, but it again feels like a weird mix of active and passive, and it doesn't hit the right notes for me personally. So let's get into that. Obviously, based on aesthetics, this is very, not quite Minecraft-esque, but the idea is there. First person, kind of pixelated style. It's super cute, by the way. But this is where the problem started for me. Normally in a first person game, you have some sort of indicator as to what your character's holding, whether in Minecraft it's like the little arm holding the block, or in a first-person shooter you have your gun, or in other first-person games, even Skyrim, you have the item held in your hands. Now, for me, rather for this game, you don't get that. You don't get the character holding anything. You just randomly punch something, or randomly just, hit it with an axe or whatever, but there's no indication of whether you're a robot, whether you're a human, like what you are, if anything. And it just took me out of the experience more and more. Like, I had the same problem with Cornucopia. There was no real backstory. There was no connection for me there. And I get that was a farming sim. This is technically not a farming sim, though it does kind of get into that, but we'll get there. And I was just really detached from the world, detached from the game, and had no personal investment. And again, this first-person perspective with no hints as to like what I was or what I was holding outside of the regular UI that's like, hey, this is the item you have equipped. It's like, why? Why do I feel so disconnected from the world? It's like, oh yeah, because I'm looking at a screen with no visuals on it from my character, or no visuals of my character. Yes, there's the little like animation that the items do when they're being hit, but that's about it. There's no other tangible representation of your character on screen. And for some reason it was kind of jarring to me. It was not something I enjoyed. I mentioned earlier that I'm not a big fan of sandbox games. Now, I'm not someone, at least I feel like I'm not someone who needs their hand held through a tutorial and like needs to be walked through all of the story like a wee little baby. I just want some direction. I want something to help keep me grounded and invested in the game. This does not have it. I had the same problem arguably with Minecraft. Now, when I say that, I mean like the beta version that came out in 2010, 2011, whatever it was, before it went to its 1.0 release. And since then, they've added things like the Ender Dragon, things like villagers, things like quests, things for the player to do to help keep them engaged, goals for the player to keep striving towards. And I fully recognize this game could be updated with those. This game could have objectives that I didn't get to yet. Though after watching a few videos, one of which was really interesting, I will have that linked in the description down below, by the YouTube channel Let's Game It Out. Now, I've never heard of this channel before. I decided to click on them because of the fact they did an Outpath video, and I was like, I need some more things to talk about. And I was not willing to put the time into the game to get there, just because this game, and I'll elaborate on this in a bit, has committed the cardinal sin of being boring. But anyway, I clicked on this channel, I clicked on this video rather, and had a lot of interesting stuff that I will mention just kind of in passing. This is not necessarily things I experienced, but I will specify when I get to that point. Anyway, I played the video, I played the game, and as I said, it was a weird mix of active and passive. So you are actively clicking, or in my case, holding the clicks. I didn't feel like clicking 1,000 times, just to break down resources, to build up stuff, to help you either break down resources faster, or, and though I didn't experience myself, this was in the video I just mentioned, again, linked down below, you build things to break stuff for you. Like you are actively working to make the game even more passive. Which is why I say it's similar to Factorial in the sense that you are trying to automate. You are trying to make the process as a whole more efficient, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem comes in with making your game... The problem comes in with the fact that your whole objective for progression is to make the game play itself. And I'm fine with that in a mobile game. I'm fine with that in certain types of games. This is not what I wanted out of Outpath. Now, evidently I went into it with the wrong mindset, and that is my fault. But I do think it speaks volumes when the whole point of progressing in your game is so you can play the game technically more efficiently, but arguably not engage with the game as actively anymore. It's like, why does this exist? Anyway, I don't want to judge this game too harshly. The fact that it's seemingly made by one person is incredible, and I don't want that to go understated. The amount of complexity in terms of the crafting that I have seen in the video, again, did not experience that myself, seems really cool. Like, it is definitely a more in-depth game when you give it the time and dedication, and apparently an auto-clicker that lets you just farm resources at an exponentially faster pace. But I do think the game can be fun for the right person. For example, John, when he played it, really enjoyed it, thought he was really relaxing. Me, on the other hand, I love relaxing games. I love cozy games like Unpacking, Coral Island, Stardew Valley, Fae Farm. Yes, I know most of those are farming sims, whatever. I love a relaxing game. This, to me, was not relaxing. This, to me, was that, again, awkward line between passive and active, to the point where it was too active to be relaxing in some cases, but it was too passive to be fun in other cases. Like, again, with the clicking, I'm actively having to do that, but it's not fun, and I'm just collecting passive resources or passive skills to help me actively click better. So it's not enough in either direction for me, and just end up being really, really boring. Now, I mentioned that's the cardinal sin, in my opinion, because here's the thing. If you have a good game, great. At least you have a good game that's memorable for being good. If you have a bad game, that's not so great, but at least it's memorable for being bad. Outpath is not a bad game by any means. I would argue it's a good game. The problem is, for me, at the very least, I want to stress that this is a personal thing. For me, it's a good game without the fun in it, without the fun factor, and that is why I play games, to have fun. So, at the risk of sounding really harsh on this game, I know it has a really positive review metric on Steam. I did not enjoy this game. I did not have fun with this game. Even after looking at the trailer, looking at the video footage from the other video I mentioned, I did not have fun with this game, and I don't think I would. And that's fine. If this game is for you, if you're seeing the stuff on screen, you're like, hey, that looks great, that looks like a super relaxing time, pick it up right now. It is $19.49 Canadian, or your original equivalent, which I imagine is like $18 US. I don't think that's a bad price, and I think you can get a good couple hours of entertainment out of the game, probably more than that. But it's just not the game for me, and that's okay. I do apologize if I seemed a little more rambly than usual, a little kind of off in this video again. Pretty sore throat at the time of recording this audio, but I wanted to make sure I got this video out as the publisher has asked for it to be out before Christmas, and I have a pretty busy schedule coming up. Anyway, thank you, ladies, gentlemen, everyone in between and beyond, so much for being here, for watching, and for listening. Really appreciate you. Make sure to check out the game, links in the description down below. Check out the videos, like I said, and I'll see you in the next one, hopefully with a better voice. Bye!